everybody, and welcome back. Dominic, thanks for joining me again.
Hey, thanks for having me here, Jeff. I appreciate it.
So we wrapped up our last session on the qualified plan TSP and 403Bs, segueing into Social Security, very important subject. So let's discuss this with our audience. The third leg of the retirement planning, right?
Yeah, definitely for sure. It's an important aspect of retirement planning. And before we start, I could talk for 2 hours on this, Jeff. It's
Yeah.
such an important topic, and there's so much to learn and so much to teach people about it. But what I tell people when they come into my office, or these days we do everything over Zoom, but regarding Social Security, I think the first thing that people should have is they should set up their own Social Security account so that they can go there anytime they want, get any information they need about their work history, about their current benefits for the current year, and then they can print out their statement, in real time right online. So that's pretty important.
And you had mentioned this. You had mentioned this to me before that they ask you a lot of security questions.
Oh, well, it's the typical U.S. government stuff. What can I tell you? But they're a little overzealous in their security, of course, because they don't want people hacking into other people's accounts. Yeah, so what you need to do is you go to ssa.gov/my account. And if you've never been there before, they're going to ask you to create a unique user ID and a unique password. But before they let you do that, they want to ask you some credentials about yourself, some security questions to make sure it's you, and things that you would only know. And some of those, in my experience personally, have been things that are really out of the ordinary, like what kind of car did you drive in 1977, or what was your auto loan company back in 1982, or things like that. So
Right.
they give you options, multiple choice to guess at. But if you get it wrong, I'm just saying, after 3 times, they lock you out for 24 hours. And if you get
Typical
locked out for
government.
24 hours more than twice, then you have to call the Social Security Administration. It turns into a little bit of a nightmare. So try to remember all that stuff if you can.
So be patient. It's just standard procedure, but the audience really needs to do that.
They do. They absolutely. Everybody should have that information about how long they've worked, how many years they have in, the amount that's been collected for Social Security each year, and what their current benefit would be. Yes, definitely.
Before I ask you this next question, I just thought of this because we've had sessions on this specifically with identity theft and mistakes. On one reason why we always suggest somebody go on and do what you just suggested to get an accurate report, because they used to send them in the mail, and they don't do that for certain age groups now. But you want to make sure there's no mistakes. And I know personally that there was one year where they had zero income for me, and someone who's self-employed. I knew for a fact that it was one of the years, late 90s, that I had income, and they had down zero for me. And that took a long time to get corrected. So that's another reason why you want to make sure you stay on top of it.
Yeah, for sure. Boy, Jeff, that sounds like a bit of a nightmare. You probably had to go through your old tax returns or contact the
Oh,
IRS.
yeah. Well, my accountant thankfully was really good, but the point is that brought it to life for me. And I can't tell how many people over the years are like, you know what, they had screwed up a year for me too. I mean, you pay into it and you're expecting a benefit. So, you know what, you know, make sure it's accurate.
Jeff, I tell all my clients and prospects, whether you're a federal employee, a state, or a municipality employee, everybody should be checking their paycheck. And nobody does, by the way. Very few people do, I
I
should say.
know.
But everybody should be checking it at least once a month, because I've sat down with, and I can count it on probably 2 hands over the last 5, 6 years, where things have been taken out of their pay for years, literally years, that they did not expect, that they canceled years ago. And there's no way of getting that money
Yep.
back. So yeah, definitely check your records on that.
Absolutely. Okay, so one of the questions we get a lot is when should someone apply?
Yeah, so it's really in and of itself is it's a personal choice, of course. I get people asking me that all the time, and it depends on when you think you'll be retiring at what age. It depends if you have longevity in your family history or not. And it's really comes down to a personal preference, but people can apply as early as 62 years old for Social Security. That's if you're not disabled. If you're disabled, of course, you can apply way earlier than that. And as late as 70, there is no benefit to waiting after the age of 70. So definitely do not do that. Everybody has a full retirement age. It's called an FRA or full retirement age. And at your full retirement age, you get 100% of what's called your PIA or primary insurance amount. So I'll give you an example. I was born in 1958. So my full retirement age is age 66 and 8 months. And at 66 and 8 months, I'll reach 100% of my primary insurance amount, or I get 100% of my benefit. Now, the cool thing, all right, let's start with the not so cool thing. If I retired and got my Social Security before 66 and 8 months, i.e. age 62, I would take a severe reduction in my monthly payment. Now, that's okay for somebody who thinks that they're only going to live till 70. They want to get as much money as they can out of the system. I get that. But I'm expecting to have longevity, and God bless me if I hope I live till 100 years old. But the opposite of that's true as well. If I wait, each year I wait after my full retirement age, they give me a bonus. It's called a delayed retirement credit, or a DRC, of 8% per year, for a total of 32% increase in my payment over 4 years from 66 to 70. So for me personally, I'm taking that because I'm willing to work till then, and I'm having fun and love what I do. So I want that 32% bonus. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so the clients you work with, do most people know this, or is this news to them?
No, it's the opposite. Actually, it totally news. Most people have no idea of this. They have a vague idea that they can, apply for it somewhere in the 60s. They know that, but they don't know their full retirement age. They don't know their primary insurance amount. Most people have not printed out that statement. And again, I urge you to do that. So, yeah, most people do not know this.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Interesting.
it's really important information. It helps you plan your retirement. Um,
Well, there's a lot out there, and as you said when we started, we could spend 2 hours on this, but something that I'd like you to share with the audience is you offer a report, correct, on Social Security?
We do, yeah. I have a team of professionals that are extremely well versed in Social Security benefits. And what we do is we have a brief, what we call a fact finder, and the prospect fills out that fact finder form. It's one pager. They send that into us with their most recent Social Security statement, and then we hand that off to our Social Security analysis team, and they create for our clients and prospects a very comprehensive multi-page report that will offer the client many different variations on when would be the most advantageous for them to start taking their Social Security.
I think everybody should take you up on that offer. Is that a complimentary assessment?
Totally complimentary. So you got everything to gain and nothing to lose. Yep.
Okay, so before we give everybody your contact information again, let's go through one more time because when you mentioned that Social Security running the report and getting their accurate income and what they put in, there's a lot of fraud going on with Social Security. And for those of you in the federal space, there's been scams going on directly to federal employees that make it really look like it's from the Social Security Administration. So it's important to make sure you have accurate information and you're protecting that information. So could you go through the website again where somebody can go to get their statements?
Certainly, yep. It's S as in Sam, S as in Sam, A like Alpha. So ssa.gov, ssa.gov/my account. And then that'll take you to the main page, the sign up page. And if you've never been there before, again, they'll prompt you to create a user ID and a password. They'll ask some verification questions to make sure you are who you say you are. And then once you create your account, you just go in, you can click on the various tabs. You can print out your current statement. You can check that for accuracy, which is a really important thing because I've known some people to print out their statements and look at a year and say, wow, I got a 0 there and I know I worked, even though it
Yeah,
was 20 years ago. So
yeah,
yeah, that's something you definitely want to do.
absolutely. I've been there. So okay, so somebody listening in, they say, yeah, I want to go through that Social Security report. How they get a hold of you?
Yeah, so the best way to get a hold of me is through our toll-free number here. So let me just, sorry, I'm just pulling that up as we speak. It's 888-435-7899, and I'm Dominick Caiati. I'm extension number 1. They can click there.
In your website?
Website is caiatifinancial.com. It's spelled CAIATI, financial.com.
All right, so please, everybody, the third school, the retirement, very important. You don't want to leave money on the table. You want to make sure there's no mistakes. You want to know the best time to apply. Dominick's team is offering a complimentary report on this. Let's take advantage of it. So again, great information, Dominick. I appreciate your time.
Thanks. Thank you so much for allowing me to do this. And we want to remember to tell everybody to share this podcast if they can, this great information with their
Yeah,
coworkers and friends and family.
right now is a great time to review. I mean, crazy year, but you need to have your house in order, and this is a big part of it. A lot of moving parts, and we're here to help each of you out there. Let's talk about the next episode. What's coming up next week?
Yeah, so next week we're going to talk about uh, their group benefits and costs for group benefits and ones that you absolutely must have and some that are sort of questionable and bringing up some questions that prospects and clients have brought up in the past.
It's a very important subject, and as we close out, group life insurance or group health insurance, whether you want to participate in the group long-term care, all that needs to be analyzed to see if there's better options individually. We have seen people over the years that have carried their group life insurance into retirement and didn't know it. Like you and I pointed out, Dominic, people having money withdrawn from their paycheck or benefits they didn't even know that could go into retirement. It's important for you to understand what your options are and make sure that you're set up to minimize your costs and maximize your benefits. We're going to get into that next week. Again, great session. Thanks, Dominic. This wraps it up.
Thank you so much, Jeff. We'll talk soon.
Okay, take care.
Yeah.